Hi there, today we are going to be upgrading the Charizard deck using the starting collection only. So I won't be crafting any new cards since it's going to be a brand new account and your crafting point is very crucial and you're better off saving it on certain mon or cards. And the starting collection has most of the cards that we need to upgrade the Charizard deck anyway, and I'm going to be doing that for the other deck, but most likely some deck we might actually have to craft. So let's start with the card pull for the deck for the Charizard. Okay, we're going to be running 4 Charmander, 1 Charmeleon, 3 Charizard X, and we're gonna be running 2 Pidgey, 1 Pidgeotto, and 2 Pidgeot EX, and we're gonna be running 2 GP, 2 Dragocloak, and 1 Dragonpult, and we're gonna be running 1 Cleffa, 1 Mew EX, 1 Pheasantipity EX. Now for the supporters, we're gonna be running 4 Arven, 2 Boss's Order, 2 Professor Research, and 2 Iono. And for item, we're gonna be running 4 Buddy Buddy Fuffin, 4 Ultra Ball, 3 Rare Candy, 2 Nuzball, 1 Super Rod, 1 Switch, and 1 Earthen Vessel. And our ace spec will be Maximum Belt, and our other tools will be 1 Technical Machine and 1 Rescue Board. And our energy count will be 8 Fire Energy and 2 Psychic Energy. And that's the list for the Charizard EX deck. Now we're gonna be talking about the cards that I removed from the deck and how they're not really that good or they need some deck space basically. So I removed a single copy of Charmeleon and the Rabscar line. And having 2 copies of Charmeleon isn't that bad since item lock exists such as Badu, but for the starting collection we have a limited ways to actually search for evolution Pokemon. There's a lot of good searchers that require crafting like Hilda, Rock Scouting, and Jock. And if the starting collection gives us 2 copies of TM Evolution, it would be a good idea to actually keep the 2 Charmeleon. So yeah, that's the reason why I went down to 1 copy of Charmeleon, because there's no way for us to get the evolution Pokemon right away, and yeah, we need to have those cards basically, and we need crafting points for those, and not that ideal. So let's talk about the Rabscar line here. And yeah, this card is a very good card since it prevents all the damage done by effect from attack of your opponent's Pokemon in your bench. So Dragonpult EX is basically, goner. So yeah, the spread damage that exists, like Grimmsnarl is also get resisted, and yeah, this card is a very strong, but the problem is we need more deck space, so yeah, we have to get rid of it. And the reason why is because we need draw engine, since this deck doesn't really have any good draw engine, and the only good engine that we have is Cleffa, Mew EX, and a supporter Iono. And yeah, those cards are not good enough since Cleffa need to be used that in the battle. Basically it will end your turn when you draw the card. Mew EX required to have 2 or less in your hand, so you need the best one to have nothing in your hand to get all the 3 draws, and that's not good. And then after that we have Iono here, since Iono sometimes it's a 50-50, sometimes it help your opponent, it also screw your opponent, and it happens to me way too many times that it actually helped me out when someone Iono me, and yeah, that's why I kind of don't like to have multiple copies. So basically Iono is a pretty good card here since it disrupt and also help us, but yeah, I did switch the 2 copies of Iono for Professor Research, and Research will basically dump everything in our hand into the discard pile, give us a fresh hand. And sometimes if you only have Research, you don't have to discard anything since your hand's gonna be empty and you're just gonna draw 7 new cards. So yeah, the card is pretty strong, and that's why I have 2 copies of each. So yeah, it depends on the lineup that we need to have. Now the draw engine that I added to the Charizard EX deck is Pheasantipity EX and Dracloak. The original starter deck for Charizard doesn't have Pheasantipity, and Pheasantipity right now it's a good stable card since it gives you free 3 draw basically when your opponent knockouts your Pokemon, and sometimes it's a very good thing, especially when you can get every phone lineup in the game. But yeah, it's pretty much a comeback card, so we need to have it in our deck, especially for Charizard, since Charizard rely on your opponent's prize card to do a lot of damage. So when they're down to 1, you're gonna be rolling it out, and yeah, you need draw power and might as well have Pheasantipity. So Dracoloak here, and yeah, this card a very strong card since you see 2 cards in the deck, keep one of them and put one of them in the bottom. So yeah, so you can choose which one you want, and sometimes you want to choose the best one, so and then put the worst one at the bottom, but depend on your hands which one you actually need more. And not only that, Dracula can also evolve to Dragon Pult, and we do have 2 psychic energy just to actually use Dragon Pult, but we just have 1 copy. So yeah, and the reason why I have this is because we sometimes face like a cornerstone Ogre-pon, and the only way to actually down out is Charmeleon, and Charmeleon is not going to do any damage, and it will basically get knocked out. So might as well have Dragon Ball just in case. And sometimes it's a good way to actually end the game, since you can knock out multiple copies, and Charizard sometimes doesn't do enough damage to actually knock them out. Since we cannot run 4 copies of Dragon Cloak, I'm keeping the Pidgeot line EX here, and Pidgeot is still pretty strong, and we can search up a lot of copies of Boss's Order, or rare candies and stuff like that, or certain cards that we need, so might as well have it, and it's still pretty good card. So Counter Catcher is a really good card. Sadly, we need the X space, and I can't really have Counter Catcher. I wish I could, but the X space is minimal, and yeah. So I did remove a single copies of rare candy to actually have the switch card. Then I replaced the 2 card for Defiance Band for rescue board, since these 2 cards we need to actually switch, since and the reason why I actually have it is because sometimes they use a gusting effect, put the wrong active, and yeah, so we need a way to actually switch it out. And the only way to have it is to have these 2 cards. And I really wish I could replace the rescue board for air balloon, but sadly we can't craft it since we don't have any crafting points. But if we do, replace the rescue board for air balloon, honestly. So Terror Orb, it's a really bad card, to be honest. I don't see any players actually using it. I've seen all the deck lists, and yeah, Terror Orb is not that good since it only search Terror Pokemon, and we already have enough search cards such as Ultra Balls here. But yeah, it's not even used in a Terror box, to be honest. So yeah, it's kind of pointless. So yeah, there's no point. And speaking for searching is we remove Artisan, sadly, since this card is a really good card, but the problem is we need deck space, plus it also helps your opponents out, so I don't like that. I don't like when it also benefit my opponent, so I want to actually benefit me only when I use that card. So yeah, that's why I don't like it. So I'm getting rid of it. And then after that, our total energy is the same, but we did to convert the 2 fire energy for the psychic energy for Dragon Ball. But yeah, those are basically the starting collection for the Charizard deck that we have, and yes, pretty good, and hopefully we can use it some more. Now we are gonna be looking at the Charizard deck required crafting points, and this deck is gonna be a lot more stronger, like slightly, but with the Dragon Pult extra damage, it's probably on par with it. And let's start with the Pokemon count here. We're gonna be running 4 Charmander, 2 Charmeleon, 3 Charizard EX. Then we're gonna be running 2 Pidgey, 1 Pidgeotto, and 2 Pidgeot. And after that, we're gonna be running 2 Munkidori, 1 Badoo, 1 Pheasantipity, and 1 Tilmas Ogre-pon, MUEX, and a Cleffa. Now we're gonna be looking at the supporter here. We're gonna be running 2 Boss's Order, 2 Hilda, 4 Arvin, 2 Iono, 1 Brock Scotting, and 1 Jock. And for item, we're gonna be running 4 Buddy Puffin, 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Rare Candy, 2 Super Rod, 1 Nest Ball, 1 Cardo Catcher, 1 Switch, 1 Earthen Vessel. Then for the equipment, we're gonna be running 2 Technical Machine, 1 Air Balloon, and a Maximum Belt. And our energy count will be 5 energy and 2 luminous energy. So the card that you're gonna be needing to actually craft would be Munkidori, a Badoo, Tilmas Ogre-pon, a Hilda, and Brock Scotting, a Jacques, and a luminous energy, and 1 technical machine because you only got 1 from the starting collection. Okay, we're gonna be talking about the crafting that actually required for you to do, because some of them are self-explanatory, some of them are not, such as Munkidori here. Munkidori is very common nowadays. It's used in Dragon Pult, it's used in Gardevoir, it uses I think Golden Go, but it's flippy. I don't think so, but it's still going to be used in quite a lot of decks, since this card gave you extra damage, since the 3 damage counter is very good, especially if you have multiple copies of it. But we do need dark energy for that, and the reason why we have luminous energy is because it gives you every type, not just one type. It's not colorless, but it gives you any type that you need. So that's why we're running 2 copies. So we just put in Mokidori right away, and if there's a damage on it, you can toss it out. And yeah, that's why I have it. And for another use for luminous energy, it's gonna be Tilmas Ogre Pond here, and Tilmas Ogre Pond basically will go through a bunch of balls, and yeah, that's why pretty good attack here. But the demolish attack is very strong. It pretty much thing. It also stall your opponent out if they have an ability, but Dragon Pot doesn't have to worry about. I think Gardevoir doesn't really have to worry about that. And yeah, most of the top deck doesn't have to worry about, except for I think Golden Go, but that's about it. But yeah, Demolish is very strong, and that's the why we have it. And for us to actually search the luminous energy is with Hilda. Hilda is basically give us evolution Pokemon and energy at the same time, so we can get ourselves a Charizard and a luminous energy or a fire energy. But either way, we can get an extra energy for that Monkidori or Cornerstone. But yeah, that's why we have Hilda. It's a good card here. But we also have Brock Scouting and Jacques here, since Brock Scouting will give us basic Pokemon, so 2 of them, or evolution Pokemon. So either one of them is basically good, especially if we get item lock. Jacques is also another good ways to give us evolution cards. So we have a lot of ways to actually search evolution, and that's why we're also running Badoo here, since Badoo basically item lock your opponent, and sometimes we get a dead hand, and the only card that we have is like a nest ball into a thing. But either way, that's why we have Badoo there. So yeah, this deck is very strong to compare to the previous collection that we have. It's a flippy, but either way, these 2 decks are pretty good. So if you want to craft them, you can use this one. If not, you can just use the previous deck that we have here. So yeah, so gameplay is gonna be into the next video. It's gonna be linked in the description, hopefully. But yeah, so I'm gonna be showing off both of them. They're gonna be going head to head, and I'm gonna be also versing the regular starter deck with using the upgraded one that we have, since it's a very different thing to do.